Well, welcome back to the continuation of our series on renovating this bathroom with everything I bought from Home Depot. First thing we're going to go deal with today is the shower plumbing. We've got to put in a shower valve. Now this is available off the shelf. Put links for all the products in the video description for you guys. This is a rough-in and trim shower kit, okay? So it comes with everything you're going to need, including a shower head, but today we're here for this. That is the magic in behind the wall. The rest of this we will put aside for now. And we had to buy two of these little fittings as well. There we go. All right. Just going to give you a little bit of a history on this. These are temporary to set the depth in the wall. This is so that I know where to install my valve, because I want to have my finished tile somewhere between this edge and this edge when it's clamped on. Okay? Makes sense? So this is my depth setting gauge. So if I was to install this right against that board right there, after I put my 1/2-inch board on, and then on my tile, I'm a little bit too into the wall. Okay, so I want to raise this out so that I end up finishing somewhere in the middle of that line. That's your mercy for plus or minus thin set and all that kind of thing, okay? This particular valve has a hot and a cold inlet and then a shower only, all right? Does not have the tub feature on it, so you don't have to do additional plumbing. And so when you're buying this, you're going to want to look for that specific phrase on here, shower only faucet, the package says. All right, now we're going to put all of the rest of the parts back in the box, out of the room. Save that for later for the finished installation. All we need to do the plumbing in here is what comes in the kit, okay, the shower valve, and then we need these PEX adapters. This is the PEX, and this is the 1/2-inch NPT. That is the technical thread size, okay, for every single one of these fittings. And we're going to install them with Teflon tape, okay, and we're going to install them on all three. That'll convert this into a PEX only shower. So this is 1/2-inch PEX by 1/2-inch female NPT, which relates to that thread. All right, bam, that's it. Nice and simple. Make sure you buy these when you're at the store. If you're not sure, open the box and double check and see if it's PEX ready or if it's got that male thread on it. This is the most standard in the industry unless they've upgraded to the PEX ready on the shower valve. That's really the only issue at hand here. And then you've got to buy this, all right? Now this is what we call a drop ear. And this gets installed in near the ceiling for your shower arm. It also is a PEX connection, okay? And that is the type of plumbing that we're going to use today. Now we're going to take our Teflon tape, and so that you can visualize this, this is my threading. We want to wrap this on clockwise, okay? Just hold it with your finger over here. Give it a bit of a stretch. And I'm going to go 5 times around, okay? Now, I'm going to take the fitting and I'm going to go counterclockwise until I feel it sit in the thread so that I'm not cross-threading it. And just do it by hand for now. We'll tighten them all up when they're all on. Once again, hold it with your finger. Come around. 2, 3, 4, 5. And putting some tension on it the whole time so that you're exposing those threads. If you put it on loose, it's going to get all mangled as you twist it on. But if you put it on nice and tight, and it acts like a lubricant as well as a sealant. Okay, now, doing that hand tight is never going to work. Okay, it's always going to leak. One of the most common leaks in the wall is the shower valve at this connection. All right. One of the benefits of this is you can increase your torque by putting on a wrench, okay? Now, you shouldn't have to use an insane, inhuman amount of strength here. Ladies, you can do your own plumbing, okay? Get a pair of channel lock pliers like this. You can hold this end over here, okay? And you can really get a lot of torque on there. And if you don't have enough hand strength to hold it still, you can get a second pair of pliers and put it on the valve body. It's solid brass. It's not going to be a problem. Okay? Make sure all of these are nice and tight. And of course, once we get this installed, we're going to turn the water on and do what we call a pressure test. Make sure that nothing's leaking. And I might want to recommend, if you've not done a lot of plumbing before, do your installation, do your pressure test, okay? Leave the water on overnight and check in the morning to see if it's got a drip. Because you can always, once you've got it screwed into the wall, you can always come back with a wrench and give it even a little bit more tighten if you need to, okay? All right, that's enough about that. We've got to set our depth here on the wall and our height. Yeah, let's see what we got. Here we go. This is a nice height actually for installing. But as you can see here, I'm right up against this 2x3 and it's going to be buried in the wall too much. I want to come out about 3/4 of an inch. So it'd be nice if I had a piece of strapping and I can just laminate right on there. That would be ideal. Let me go see if I can find some scrap wood. Alrighty, now one of the things we're going to want to do is mark a center line. There's a couple of different ways to do this, but one of the things you want to pay attention to in your building is you're going to be constructing the shower valve and the shower head. You want it on the center line of the drain, okay? It's very intentional here. So we're going to draw this line. We're using my laser level and mark a C on here. Okay, and I'm going to put one underneath here as well. I'm going to put one up here. Anywhere that's going to be hidden, I'm going to use that as a reference for all my locations. Great gadget to have. Basic cross line. It does a horizontal and vertical. That's it. I've had this for years. It's almost indestructible. It even has magnets on it, so you can like stick it on corner beads in your house to help do all kinds of installation. Now that we've got this, we've got to make sure we just orient it properly. It actually says up on the valve. So you don't get this installed crooked or weird, okay? And this valve has 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, and 1 back here. 2 of these are for mounting to the wall, and 2 of these are mounting the finish trim, that chrome cover after the fact. The one that gets mounted with the chrome cover is a machine thread, okay? And there's a special screw for that. This is just a hole. This is for mounting to the wall. Now the secret here is to use a 2-inch screw, okay, to mount this. We'll put the center line, this is the back, you can see a center line on it, okay? We're going to lay that right on top of my black line, okay? I'm going to set my screw in here. Nice and easy first, okay? Make sure that those 2 shower valve inputs are horizontal. There we go. Shouldn't have any wiggle to it, okay? Nice and installed. Brilliant. Now, the next thing we're gonna need, obviously, is the drop here. You're gonna find that this depth is, I think it comes out to like a perfect 1 inch. Yeah, okay. So, because it's a perfect 1 inch depth, this material here is actually 2.5. Okay. I'm going to add a piece of 2x4 here, and that's 1.5. That gives me 1 inch to the surface. That's perfect because we're still going to be adding, you know, our wall board and our tile. So if you put this too deep in the wall, the shower arm that comes with it only has about a 5-inch stub. And so you don't want to lose 3 inches of that in the wall. All right. So you want to get this right close to the surface of your wallboard installation, whether it's drywall or cement board or Ditra or Curdy board, whatever you're using. All right. And we need a couple 3-inch screws for this one. 2 number 8 construction screws is more than enough to hold a piece of lumber in position like this. You don't have to go crazy and add 5 or 6. All right. And then we're going to install this in the wall with a 2-inch screw. It has 3 locations. It just need 3 screws. Here we go. All right. And you can see I have my black mark there. Just going to bring it out. Now what we want to do here is we want to install this, but we don't want to tighten the screws up. This one you want to leave a little bit loose until after you get your pecs on. And get it nice and high. Think about the taller people in the family or in the world if you're planning on selling your project at some point down the road. It's always nice to be able to get a shower height that's in and around 84 inches. All right, we need a little bit of wiggle room here so we can do our plumbing, okay? That's what we've got. That's established, that's established. I've got the water off already, okay? So we're ready to go work down here now. All right, guys, I'm using a fine-tooth metal cutting blade in order to cut my plumbing here, all right? And this is a one-hand reciprocator. It's a great tool. And we're just going to cut this off. And now we're going to use the knife to ream the inside. And a sanding block as well. Want to try to make sure we got our plumbing as clean as possible so we don't have debris entering into the shower valve after the fact here, okay? Brilliant. Okay. Now, this is our ABS to PVC green glue. I mentioned before, with CPVC, generally use a primer and then a solvent. But this product here is designed to make the transition all by itself. So you can use it as the source. You got to push them together and hold them for about 5 seconds. The solvent creates a resistance. It wants to run away while it's setting up, okay? Twist the end in, hit the pipe as well. All right, now we're good to go. Now you see I have some flexibility in my water lines as far as the height. All right, so we're going to start the installation at the shower valve. Bring our line down here. And I'll show you how easy this is. Here's my water supply for the cold. All right. I need to get this to here. All right. So I got two options. I can start at the end, which is what I'm looking for. Give myself about 3/4, and you can actually bend that pipe into this little saddle, and that'll make the turn without crimping. Okay, there we go. All I've got to do is cut it to suit the length, and to do that, I had to buy all brand new tools for this project. All my stuff is back in Canada while I'm down here in Florida. Okay, this is the Apollo pipe cutter. It's just squeeze and twist. Don't want to just crush it. You want to turn while you're squeezing, okay? That's that easy. Now, I have still too much material here. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, I wanted to bring this out because there are two systems out there for doing PEX. Okay? And here's one of them. These rings here. Okay? And then there's these rings. Now, both of these you need tools to install them. These little things here. Okay? This is a pinch clamp system. And the special tool that you buy grabs the tip and squeezes it together, okay, and creates compression on the ring that way. They were originally designed, it's called the Pro Pinch. They're originally designed for irrigation systems, right? Like outside, if it leaks and drips, who cares? You're trying to get water to the yard anyway. Yeah, not for inside your house. I've actually used them once, years ago. Ran into a couple of problems on job sites where people had leaks developing in the walls well after the installation was over. And it's not necessary because this system, which is a solid ring, okay, never develops a leak after the fact. So what I've got here is I've got my pipe in my bracket. I got my ring on my pipe. I slide over top of the fitting, Okay. Now I take my Apollo PEX tool. Again, Home Depot comes to the rescue. I'm going to set it over top of my ring. Right? And then you have to press this all together until you really get it jammed shut. There. That is now compressed. Okay? See that? That's closed. That creates the compression that shortens up the diameter of that ring. And the water pressure alone is never going to be enough to make it force expansion again. Okay? So that's plumbing. That's done. It's guaranteed. Every time you get that sound, you don't even have to wonder if it's going to work. The secret is to have it no more than 1/4 inch from the fitting on the pipe. You force this ring compressed nice and tight around one of these ribs. Okay? And that is where you get perfect water control. We are simply going to be bringing this over, and because we have the little bit of flexibility here, we're going to eyeball this. Okay? And you got to have a system here for this PEX stuff, okay? You got a couple of options. One, you do every fitting as you go. Okay? That's kind of my method. I like to do that so that I know I don't have to think about going back to fix something. The other way you can do it, this particular tool comes with a go, no go. It's a little tool, all right? And so if you're not sure, if you've been interrupted a few times or the kids have been at you, you can always take this little gauge tool. This is for 3/4 pipe. This is for 1/2 inch, which is what we're using. And you just slide it over top, okay? Now, it should fit right and tight to the inside. If it is stuck off and it doesn't close, then you haven't compressed it yet, okay? There we go. Here, I'll show you a ring that hasn't been compressed out of the bag. Here we go, see that? It won't even fit around the diameter on the side yet. Okay, that's uncompressed. That's compressed right there. Okay? And that's a great tool. So when you're all done, before you close your wall, you can walk around and check every one of your fittings one more time just to make sure. Okay? Before you do your pressure test. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. And just for fun, because it's nice to be able to visualize these things, we are going to go with the red PEX, which represents the hot water supply. Always put on your ring. Here, this is a better angle to teach from anyway, okay? There's our 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Set that ring where we want it. There we go. There we are. Done. Perfect every time. Let's get a ring on here. This is the coolest system because you don't need to measure. You got all kinds of flexibility. And you have all kinds of security. You can be really confident with a system like this, knowing that you've got good pressure. Now, we got to go one more system here. There we go. Now we're going to do the shower head, okay? Now, you see how that's going to want to slip off on you? We're going to take our pliers and just give a bit of a compression. Okay? That way it won't slide around. And then when we'll come in with this, the nature of that tool will create the perfect circle. All right? So it's okay to kind of egg shape it a little bit. And this is why we wanted it loose on the wall, so that tool can close in behind it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be strong enough to get that on. I got no leverage over my head here. Come on, you brat. I did it that way to show you. It's easier if you attach all this first before you go and install it above your head. Okay? You're welcome. Now I don't have to learn the hard way. All right. Woo! Now, we just come down here and we're going to measure, eyeball it. Okay, it's okay if you're a little bit longer. All right, you just can't afford to go short. Okay, now we take our ring first, and the way you do, you just bend this pipe to make it shorter. There we go. Nice and easy. That is the beautiful thing about working with PEX. Okay, got all the leverage in the world when you're below your face. When you're above your head, that is a hard tool to operate. All right, hammer. Don't want to lose that in the wall. I can't even tell you how many times I've lost a hammer in a wall. Our plumbing is done. Believe that or not, eh? Here we go. The only thing left to do is do a pressure test on this thing and make sure that we're good. So before we can do the pressure test, we want to go get our trim kit and grab the handle assembly. Here. I'm pretty sure this one operates like this. You go on and then off. But it doesn't have a positive stop. Ooh, fun. Does it pull out? Nope, it's just on and off. We have no idea where the off is. This will be interesting. I have one more secret weapon that I got to show you for this. Hang on. Now here's the $1 million tool. It's $1.89. Okay. Yeah, right? This actually threads into your shower head. Okay, and it has a gasket on it right here, so that if you don't know where the positive stop is for your shower control, this will keep it from coming all over the place. And it also helps you to measure where to put the hole on your wallboard, okay? So before we can attach that, now that we're done our plumbing, we want to tighten these 3 screws up. Don't over tighten. This is all brass on brass in there. You'll break the screw off and then you have to reset the whole thing to a new height. There we go. And quarter turn hand tight. Guaranteed never to leak. Now we can turn the water on and check all of these connections, which are really the ones I'm worried about. These 3. Do they work under pressure? That's what we got to know. Here we go again, back to turning the water on. Okay, there we go. Valve is pointing in the right direction. That's full open. Brilliant. Okay, so here we are, water pressure on the hot and the cold supply. If this is in the closed position, there is no water pressure in this line, so I can't test this yet. And the only way to check it is to slowly take this off. Yeah, here you go. You can hear it and you can feel it. There is definitely water in that line. This is not off. So, now we know. There we go. We're just going to leave that on right to the very, very end. And then we'll install the handle first to guarantee that we got this under control. That has always been a bit of a frustration, eh? All right, well, anyway, we are good to go for now. Let's put this back to protect this. Now we have water in. We know that that's all dry. Nothing is leaking down here. Nothing is leaking here. We're all good there. Like I said, I'm very confident with the pressure that I'm putting on those threads. I've done a lot of these. I'm very confident with my fittings. Just when I say that, I'm not happy with the way that feels back there. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to feel just fine to go close up. If you're not comfortable, this is a great project for a Saturday. Let it go until Sunday. Come back and double check while the walls are still open if your plumbing is tight enough, okay? Like I said, a lot of the times these leaks will develop over 24 or 48 hours. So don't be in a hurry to close if you're doing this project on your own. Give it a couple of days to confirm that everything is fine. Get this little stopper. Make sure that this line is pressurized as well, so you can check your fittings and your connections. That way when you do close, you can close with confidence, knowing that you're not going to develop a water problem down the road. Remember, the #1 cause of water damage and beside your wall is a drip from these threaded connections. By the time it manifests itself, so you see that you have a problem, it's been weeks of drips. And you've got mold development and the water is soaked in your wall. You've got to tear your insulation out. The only way to fix that problem is to tear open the wall. This is a great time as a DIYer to give it a few days, okay? Get that confidence before you close. Cheers.